Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. This is our simple abundance year 2020. It's so hard to say that now. It sounds like our chaotic year, right? No, this is our simple abundance year. We're following along in Sarah Von Bronick's book Simple Abundance, her 2019 edition. And I'm a little bit off schedule today because since it's the first full day of spring, I am skipping ahead to tomorrow, March 21st entry about balance, because with the equinox that I guess was it last night in midnight? I'm not sure, should know, but maybe it was in the middle of the day yesterday, because I know today is the first full day of spring. I don't know the exact time on the clock that the equinox actually was, but that means that at that time there was the balance between light and dark, right? And you know, this is my year of balance, so this one really speaks to me, and it's really good for our times right now too. I feel like I've almost been forced into a state of, I don't know that I'm at balance right now, but I've been forced into a state anyway of having more time and quiet, and I can't go out and do my creative excursions, but I don't have that work-life balance as much as I did just a little more than a week ago before everything started to get nuts. And I live in the state of New York, so today our governor just shut everything down like some of the other states. So the future is really uncertain right now, but I shared with you guys that I felt like my personal future was really uncertain a few weeks ago, and now I guess I'm sort of comforted in the fact that we're all together in the same situation now. And some of my own personal circumstances have changed because of this. So I feel like in some ways I'm like a little bit off the hook right now, at least while this is all being figured out. But so anyway, back to balance. I'm thinking about, now I didn't do that this year because I didn't plan, and I just have the groceries that I have in the fridge and everything. But last year I did do a special spring equinox meal, and Sarah had told us in the March and April, I forget if it was in April or March, but because Easter falls at different times during the year, but she was telling us to have a special meal for Easter. And so I don't really do anything for Easter normally, so I usually use the equinox as my sort of Easter thing. And I've told you before that I usually put together a little spring basket for myself, kind of like the Valentine's Day things that I'll do for myself, and pick out some fun stuff as I'm seeing them, like maybe some new gloves for the garden, or last year I had like a little bunny plush in there, just fun little things. I didn't do that this year. It's honestly just not been a regular time frame right now. And so I was a little distracted, and the equinox sort of just crept up on me. But so that year I did do the basket, and then also I did a little ritual where I lit some candles and I just let them burn down equally. And at that time, I don't think I've told you yet about this, but what I always do is I always write an intention letter, and then I plant flowers on top of it. It's like a special window box that's right on the way, like right that I see every day when I'm leaving and coming home, that I bury the intentional letter under there, kind of like for the spring and summer months. And then every time I'm watering that little thing of flowers, then I just call it my love flowers, because like I'm putting some intentions in there. So I have the last 2 years, and I can still do that tonight too, I suppose. I have written an intentional letter, and then that's the one that I use in my little love flower pots, which usually we're getting ready, in a month or month and a half or so to to get some plants planted. And I also should start that indoor Easter basket too, the living Easter basket. I already have the seeds for the grass, and I know I have some soil still in my outdoor shed. So we can still be thinking about spring. You know, nature continues, whether our economy or illness is taking over. Nature still continues. And I was also thinking today about the regeneration of everything, and how when there's a big fire that goes through, and then there's usually rebirth from that. And that's just kind of the way nature is. It just cycles, right? I'm not making light of the fact that there are deaths happening in our world and everything, but I'm just sharing some of the thoughts that I've had. So I'm going to read Sarah's words about coming into balance. All too often, when we think of living in balance, we approach balance in the same frantic, rushing way that we approach the rest of our lives. We want to balance work and home. We want to balance relationships. We want to work out and exercise and eat good food. We want to stay healthy so we can do more. We want to fill everything up ourselves, our time, our activities, our relationships, and our lives. If we are not careful, we will add balancing our lives as another task on our long list of doing too much. A part of that was a quote from Ann Wilson Chef, or it's Schaef, author of Meditations for Living in Balance. There's so many great books that Sarah references in this book that I did make a list of some in the past that I wanted to look into. I think in the bibliography has it has all of them, but there's so many. You could just go on and on if you looked into all the books and authors that are referenced. This week is the vernal equinox, when light and darkness find equal balance in the natural world. It's also a perfect time for us to consider how we can find more balance in the many aspects of our busy lives. I just need to find balance in my thoughts and emotions right now, but I'm surprisingly doing better than when I was so caught up in all of my own personal stuff. Somehow now this larger thing is so much bigger than me. And I felt like before I was feeling the weight of the control of it. And in this case, I don't feel like I have a whole lot of control, except I will say I am staying in the house, and I hope that if you're able to, that you are as well, so that we can nip this in the bud if possible. Sarah also says in the Zen frame of mind, sitting quietly, doing nothing, spring comes and the grass grows by itself. You know, that's true. The grass does, I'm going to plant my grass in my little basket, but the grass does grow by itself. We don't have to control that. And the trees are going to start budding again. Remember Sarah said that you could bring some branches in from various budding things like forsythia or little apple blossom trees. Wonder if anybody's doing that. What else are you guys up to? Besides being obsessed with the news and everything, I'm sure it's very hard. I told you before I don't watch it, but I'm definitely paying attention right now. But I feel like this feeling that we're all connected even more though. And I do notice that people in my life, I'm in contact with them a lot anyway, but people are picking up the phone, they're writing, there's a lot of connection to be had. And in fact, tonight, this is really fun, but with my family in Massachusetts, we figured out a way we can actually play this online app together on our smart devices, the TV. And so we're playing some games and stuff together, and we kind of like FaceTime together so that the sound, we can hear people laughing and stuff. So that's kind of fun. That isn't something that we really have ever done before. So I'm hoping that there are some bright spots and people coming together even more from things like this. I'm used to being alone a lot, so I know I said to you before, like, I already feel alone. That's different than being alone. I'm not really feeling alone right now. Like, sometimes I've felt very empty and alone inside. I don't feel like that right now, although I am alone with Annabelle. She's being really quiet today. But I like living alone, and I am alone a lot. I work alone, so what people are experiencing now, that they just are not used to this. This is like my everyday life. So it's okay, but I'm not feeling totally alone like I have felt very, very alone in the past. But I feel connected maybe over this whole crisis that everybody's sort of coming together on. So maybe that's a part of finding my balance too. I don't know. I'm just sort of having like a wait and see feeling with this. I hope that you're doing well. Let me know if you're doing anything special for the equinox, or if you did anything special, how you mark the changing of the seasons. I think a lot of people have probably forgot that spring is here now. We've been waiting so long. In the middle of winter, you're just always waiting for spring. And I already have ideas of things that I want to do out in the yard. I probably have some seeds. I was just thinking, I usually go to the garden center and get plants, that are already started, and annuals, but I probably could plant some things from seeds. So I know I do have some in my shed. I don't know. This year is going to be different. We'll see. But again, stay well. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts. I love reading your comments, and I'm so glad that people are still watching, even though I know there's so many other things to do. Or maybe if you're just finding my channel, you'll go back and you'll have hours and hours right now to follow along, because we're following along in this book. It's a 365-day journey. I don't do a video every day, although I've had more time this past week to do one. So, I may be coming to you more often. But if you're just finding us, check out the book, check out the past entries. You don't necessarily have to have the book, because I do read a lot from it and I share a lot of my thoughts, but it is great to have the book as a reference, because sometimes I don't always do all the entries justice. And then I'm not talking about every single one too. So there might be things that really resonate more with you that I haven't brought up. So anyway, I'm rambling again. Thanks again, and I will see you on the next video.